Sophie, what's the latest, please? And how is this going to affect the thousands of fans who are heading to the opening ceremony this evening?
Well, good morning to you both. The weather is pretty grim here in Paris this morning, but the situation on the rail networks is even more grim. That's after reported acts of what's been described as malicious vandalism. The SNCF, a French railway system, has said that this was a coordinated attack, that fires were lit to deliberately affect the system put in place for the Olympic Games. We know that around 800,000 people are going to be impacted by this, and they've said that it could take the full weekend to resolve it. Now, of course, that's the last thing that the French Olympic Committee will have wanted, given that tonight is that big opening ceremony. We're expecting around 300,000 people in the centre of Paris alone tuning into that, watching as it comes down the Seine. It was meant to be very special having it outdoors for the first time, but now with this, the impacts going to be caused by these disruptions, many people could perhaps be unable to make it into Paris for the Olympic ceremony. We also know in the last 15 minutes or so that this has had a knock-on effect on the Eurostar, several of those being cancelled, and if not, they've been delayed. So the impact of this is being felt not just in Paris but all over France and also in the UK. So this is going to have an incredibly big knock-on effect as we go into the Olympic Games. Of course, people not just travelling into Paris for the opening ceremony but for the coming weeks of events. Team GB will begin their campaign officially tomorrow. They competed in the archery yesterday, but the official campaign will begin tomorrow. So many people will be looking to travel into Paris from all over the world, and this could have a big impact on how they make their way from various airports, from various other transport systems into the city centre itself, where the majority of venues are located. It's also potentially going to have an impact on people travelling around the city to get to different venues. Of course, they're not all just in the city centre of Paris. They're located around the entire city itself. So that's going to have a big impact. Now, it is obviously not ideal, but it's not all doom and gloom here in Paris. I think we should just take a second and take in the view that's right here behind me, here at the Eiffel Tower this morning. An incredibly spectacular view here, and that's going to be the view for the billion people we expect to tune into the Olympic opening ceremony all over the world tonight. 6:30 p.m. French time, 5:30 if you're watching in the UK, as around 10,500 athletes make their way on boats down the River Seine to here at the Eiffel Tower and the Trocadero. They're going to be travelling the River Seine for the first time ever, as I say. It's going to be an outdoor opening ceremony, so let's hope that the rain can at least stop and that we can perhaps get a grip on the issues being faced on the high-speed rail network so that people can come in and they can enjoy this opening ceremony as it was intended.
Thanks, Sophie. Just a quick question. There's been lots of conjecture online in recent days about the safety of Paris, some high-profile incidents, some pretty grim. Do you feel safe out there?
I absolutely feel safe. The security that we have seen thus far has been absolutely immense. I mentioned it on breakfast this morning. You may think that it looks relatively quiet around me where we're stood this morning, and that is because to get anywhere within about 100 metres of the River Seine, you either need to be a resident, you need to have a work permit, or you need special permission from the French government, which is how myself and my cameraman have been able to get such brilliant access. But other than that, you're getting nowhere near the River Seine today, so I feel quite safe anyway, and let's hope that those safety measures do their job and that there is no kind of incident going forward.
OK, great stuff. Great gig, Sophie. Very lucky. And, yeah, we'll touch base with you later in the show.